Hey everybody, in today's episode, I want to talk about the customer from hell, right? So it's going to happen. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when it will happen that you'll have a customer that's not the best fit for you, your style, your teaching, or for whatever it is that they think that they want, that you are not delivering in the way they want you to deliver it. So I want to talk a little bit about that in today's episode. So first of all, I want to just address like when it's appropriate to bring in, customers who may or may not be an ideal fit for you and your style and your program. And the answer is, of course, like never. You never want to do that, right? But it happens. In your beta phase, right? In your sort of prototype 1.0 version of your program, one of the things that I always recommend that people think about is sort of curating who is coming in, because at that point you need raving fans, you need people who are going to give you feedback, both good and bad, right? But they're doing it in a way that's positive, and they're not trying to sort of sabotage or ruin your momentum as you're moving forward. And while you don't need to discount your beta, you don't need to necessarily tell people that it's your first time doing it and whatever else. It is appropriate to talk about the fact that this is the prototype or the beta or the 1.0 or however you want to address it. And that you're bringing them in as a founder, as the, one of the key people who will help grow it. And so they know the spirit in which things are being built at this point, right? Think about product development, which is really what you're doing as you're building out your online program. Is product development, when you're creating a physical product, you have a prototype, right? Like you have something that people are able to test and play with, and you see what's working, what's not working, and you don't finalize the product until you've gone through that testing. Your online program is no different. And so you have to go through that initial testing with real people to know what's working, what's not working, what do they like, what do they not like. But there's a difference between getting positive feedback or constructive feedback and just negative, more toxic feedback. And so it's okay if you are in that situation where somebody is kind of taking a turn for the negative, to let them go, to tell them it's not a good fit, to refund their money, and to thank them for participating, but that you're going to shut off their access. Because what the goal is right now is for you to test and perfect and get your program out there. It's not necessarily to deal with all of that. So I'm giving you permission today. If you have that customer from hell, it's okay to go ahead and let them go. But use the lessons of what you've learned, of the feedback that you've gotten, to perfect and tweak what you have done. Both in the messaging on the front end, so you don't get those customers who come in, so they know exactly what they're up against, and stylistically there's a match. And in your program, make sure that you're using the feedback to again, continue to grow your program, but don't get too hung up on changing things just because somebody is giving you that feedback, right? Really stand behind what you know is working, the style of people that you're bringing in, and that they're really thankful for it, right? So to use the sort of holistic picture, not just the feedback that somebody is giving you, like one person has given you. But the other thing is that there's a time and a place for bringing in people who may give you some more difficult feedback. And your beta may not be it. And so it's okay to hand pick or curate the people that you're having in your beta. Sometimes people get hung up on, they just want to get as many people in and they want to get as many dollars as possible. And so they let anyone in. Probably not the right time to do that, because things aren't perfected. Things are you're kind of in the messy middle of it, right? And so if you see that somebody's going to be more difficult, maybe they have a lot of visibility, so they have kind of the option to sort of make or break your success as you're moving forward. Probably not the right time to have them in. Maybe wait until the next version before you do that. Okay, so if you get them, how do you deal with them, right? So what kinds of things do you need to do if you end up with somebody like this in one of your programs. Number one, take their feedback, right? Take their feedback, write it down, put it where it belongs, and keep going, keep moving forward. But take their feedback and take it to heart, but don't let it derail you from what you're doing. Yeah, consider it constructive feedback, right? And use it just to build out what you're doing. Or you can just refund their money. Say, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate the feedback. It seems like it's not a good fit. Why don't we go ahead and just, stop the relationship, refund their money, or whatever your guarantee is. Just exhibit that. Say, thanks so much. Appreciate it. Maybe you would like to come back in the future when it's more polished and put together. Because what you don't want them to do is to sabotage or go out and start talking about you or your company or your program or your product, right? The other thing you can do is bend over backwards to accommodate their needs at the expense of everything else, expense of your program, expense of everyone else who's signed up, right? And so those are sort of the three different directions that people go. And one of the things to really think about is, if this is happening to you, what is it doing to the rest of the people? What is it doing to your momentum as you're building? What is it doing to the program in general? Is it enhancing the program, or is it distracting you? Is it affecting your energy? Is it affecting your ability to really deliver with other people? If it is, it's time to sever the relationship, right? Just give them their money back. It's not worth it to have it derail you significantly. And then, of course, take that feedback, take it to heart, think about next time what you would do. There are going to be people that aren't a good fit for your program. There are people who, may need somebody different. If you are somebody who is more, you like to discuss, you like to have long conversations, and you have somebody who's super direct and wants to just get in and get out, you're not going to be a good fit. That's okay. Right? There are lots of people who match your style. So don't force it if it feels like it's not going to be a good fit. So those are some of my tips and tricks for how to deal with customers from hell, but they will come. It's just a matter of when, and the more you have techniques and strategies for how to deal with that, the easier it's going to be as you move forward. But don't be afraid to stand behind what you have, and also don't be afraid to take the feedback, right? But just don't let it derail you, and make sure that you're bringing people in at the right time. Somebody who's more difficult may not be the best fit when you're first starting out. You really need people who are going to be, lifting you up through this process, giving you feedback, right? You want that constructive feedback. You don't want the happy clappers, but you also want somebody who can deliver it in a positive manner and not try and derail all your efforts. So there you go. Hopefully that tip serves you today as you go out and find those awesome customers that will get results and become raving fans.